Hello students, and welcome back to yet another session on history. First of all, I appreciate you all students for taking your time in watching the video of my previous class. At the same time, I also thank you students for giving those lovely comments based on my previous chapter. So before heading towards a new chapter, let us just discuss as to what was done in the previous session. As you remember, in the previous session, we started a new chapter, that is chapter 2, and the title of the chapter was Prehistoric Period. This is also called as Stone Age, Metal Age Culture. In that particular lesson, we understood how the early man lived, the different stages of evolution of man, maybe in the Stone Age or maybe in the Metal Age. And you also got to know the kind of questions that are expected from chapter number 2. So today I am going to start a new lesson, which is chapter 3, and the title of the chapter is Indus Valley Civilization, or it is also called as Harappan Civilization. As this chapter is a lengthy chapter, I will be giving 2 sessions based on this particular chapter. So this would be the first session, and the remaining would be in the part 2 of this particular video. So students, coming back to Indus Valley Civilization, what you are going to study today. So that is regarding the content of the particular chapter. In Indus Valley Civilization, firstly you are going to study little bit history on the civilization. That is, you will first understand why is it called Indus Valley Civilization. Why is that term Indus Valley is being used to refer to this civilization? And after that, you are going to study on the time scale, that is, during which period was this civilization active. After that, you would study that to which culture does this civilization belong to. So it represents which culture. After that, you will study the area, how vast was this civilization. After that, some of the important sites so far excavated and discovered in different parts. After that, you will study the other contemporary civilizations which were active when Indus Valley Civilization was there. Okay, so now let us concentrate on the first aspect of this particular chapter, that is regarding the term Indus Valley Civilization. Students, if you remember, first PUC probably when you started learning the world civilizations, you came across some unique feature. That is, in all the civilizations, may it be Egyptian, Mesopotamian, Chinese or whatever, one thing is common, that is, all the civilization flourished across river valley. Why? It's understood that because of the availability of water and because the land was fertile. And that's how we need to connect the same factor here with Indus Valley Civilization. Yes, Indus Valley Civilization get its name Indus because it flourished across the river Sindhu. So Sindhu gave the name Indus, and that was perhaps later on referred as Indus Valley Civilization. Apart from this name, it is also referred as Harappan Civilization. It's because Harappa was the first site that was discovered pertaining to this civilization. Therefore, Indus Valley Civilization, apart from the name Indus Valley, it is also referred as Harappan Civilization. So I am sure you are clear with how did this civilization get its name. Now moving forward, when was this civilization active? There are so many arguments, giving the exact date from how long, from where till where this particular civilization was active. And broadly, people have taken different dates to connect the civilization. But the most popular date that is being assigned regarding the Indus Valley civilization is it could have been active during 3000 BCE, that is 3000 before Common Era is the date, probably been more apt as far as this civilization is concerned. Now, to which culture did this civilization belong? This civilization is represented with bronze culture. So, as a number of bronze equipments and implements have been discovered, it is told that this people used bronze extensively. So, this culture represents bronze culture. And how vast is this civilization? We know that when we study about Indian civilization, we definitely refer to Indus Valley civilization. So, what was the area? If we look at the area of this civilization, it just not includes India, it also includes Pakistan and parts of Afghanistan. That is before the partition, for example, Harappa is in modern day Pakistan. So, some of the areas to the west Punjab, which is in modern day Pakistan, also includes to be the area of Harappan or Indus Valley civilization. Now, where are the sites pertaining to or related to Indus Valley civilization found? So, as it is obvious that as the civilization had expanded in huge area, it is estimated that it was extended up to 12 lakh square kilometer. So, the area is vast. So, we have a lot of sites that gives us the reference of this civilization being active. But among them, few sites are very important. Which are those sites? They are basically Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Lothal, Rupar, etc. So, it is very important for you all to remember at least 4 names pertaining to this civilization. Now, what are the sources that are available to study Indus Valley civilization? So, maybe in the first chapter you have come across a very popular statement, no source, no history. So, without source, it is very difficult to reconstruct the past. And here students, to help us, we have a large number of archaeological sources that gives us an very elaborate information regarding this civilization. So, what are those sources? Those sources are basically seals. Kannadadalli idಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಮುದ್ರೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ, seals. So, there are thousands of seals which are basically in a shape of a tablet or what we call as those like strips, which are made out of clay. And these seals even today have been not read. So, we don't have any direct information as to what exactly those seals tell us. But it has some kind of significance related to this civilization. And apart from seals, we have also come across bronze implements. We have also come across the burnt bricks, and we have also come across the other kinds of constructions which are even today preserved and taken care by the archaeological department. So, by using all these kinds of sources, it is very easy for us to understand the time, the people, and how was the culture during Indus Valley civilization. And it is also very interesting to note that when Indus Valley civilization was active, across the world we had other 3 civilizations. One is the Egyptian, the other one is the Mesopotamian, and the third one is the Chinese civilization. So, these 3 civilizations are called to be the contemporaries of Indus Valley civilization. So, students, this is regarding the brief introduction to the chapter that is on Indus Valley, where I have told you how we get the name Indus Valley, what is the other name the civilization has, what is the time scale, that is it could be dated back to 3000 BCE, and what is the area. The area is very vast. It includes parts of India, Pakistan and also Afghanistan, and it belongs to a culture called as Bronze culture. And when this civilization was active, even in the world we can find the other three civilizations like Egyptian, Mesopotamian and Chinese civilization. So students, now it is very clear that how this civilization and where it flourished. Moving ahead, what do you study in this particular chapter apart from this? As I told you, this chapter is a vast chapter where you study the brief introduction, the important sites, and also you study the salient features. And in salient features, you basically study on their town planning, their political life, their social condition, their economic condition, the religion they followed, their art and sculpture, their seals, and at the end you also study that how this mighty civilization came to an end. Okay, and before that you need to understand one thing, that is how did we come to know that such a civilization was there? How did we come to know? What are the proof, or from when did man get to know that such a civilization was active? It is during the year 1856. What exactly happened during 1856? It is believed that in 1856, when the then British government was laying a railway line in the province of Sindh, they came across burnt bricks. As they were digging, they came across the burnt bricks. They also found it very unusual because the structure itself told that it was not natural, rather man-made. And moving ahead, in the year 1862, General Cunningham came across some of the seals in the process of excavation. Some of the seals which had pictures, some kinds of very unusual symbols. So that gave us the first clue that probably there existed some kind of a civilization. Later in the year 1904, this date is perhaps very important because in 1904, that is Lord Curzon, established Archaeological Department of India. And it is exactly here where we have the artifacts preserved. Moving ahead, in the year 1920, probably even this date is very important because it was in the year 1920, Sir John Marshall, I repeat, Sir John Marshall, for the first time gave us the information that it is perhaps a clue of a civilization being present. So it is not just a very casual bricks what are found, it is not just those very tiny seals, but it is the evidence of some kind of civilization was first told by Sir John Marshall. And later on, Indian archaeologists also discovered some of the important archaeological sites. Who are they and when was it? It was in the year 1921. An archaeologist by name R.B. Dayaram Sahani for the first time discovered an important Indus Valley site of Harappa. And Harappa is in Montgomery district of West Punjab and it is now in Pakistan. So it was he who first discovered the site of Harappa. And later on, it was in the year 1922, an archaeologist by name R.D. Banerjee discovered yet another important historical site of Mohenjo-daro. So this name is very unusual, Mohenjo-daro. So the meaning of Mohenjo-daro means mound of dead, Madidavara Dibba. Okay, so it is called as Mound of Dead. So it is a Sindhi word. And perhaps in this every process, a new civilization was uncovered. People started to make the analysis of this civilization depending on the kind of artifacts they found in the process of excavation. So in the year 1920 to 1922, perhaps they have been very crucial year, because that is exactly the point when the Indus civilization was uncovered to the people to understand. It created a kind of curiosity among the people to study further. So this is regarding how exactly we came across Indus Valley civilization. So students, now you have understood the meaning, the brief introduction, as well as some of the discoveries and the stages in which this civilization started to appear into the general public. Now moving ahead towards very important question from this particular chapter, that is on the salient features of Indus Valley civilization. This question is altogether asked for 10 marks. And you can also expect a 5 marks question and many 1 marks and 2 marks question from this particular question. And at the end of this session, I would rather give you little more information on the kind of questions that are asked from this particular chapter. Now coming back to salient feature. Students, every civilization is unique. If you have gone through Egyptian civilization or Chinese civilization, we see that the culture was altogether different. Each civilization was different from the other. The way of life of people was different. The political administration was different. The kind of religion was different. So everything was unique and special. But what is so unique about Indus Valley civilization? That we shall study in the salient features. Students, in salient feature, we basically have so many features. Some of them are the town planning, the political condition of the people, the social and economic condition of the Indus people, their religious life, art, sculpture. So you are going to study all these things. And in this session, I am exclusively concentrating on the town planning of Harappan people. Okay, and this particular question is altogether asked separately for 5 marks. Okay, so when we study about town planning, or when we look about their town planning, we have to identify some of the unique features this or Harappan towns had. So what do we study here in their town planning? In their town planning, first we study on the streets. How were the streets then when the Indus people lived? Then we look at one of the very unique feature of Indus Valley civilization, that is regarding their drainage system. Then we head towards something called as Great Bath, and then the granary, and finally on their buildings, the kinds of structure which they built. Now coming back to their town planning, when we look at their town planning, we get 3 important concepts here. One is, looking at their town planning, it is very much clear that these people lived in an advanced society. They were civilized people. And when we look at their drainage system, which I will tell you maybe rather later, it is understood that these people had a very scientific kind of drainage system, which no other contemporary civilizations had. And thirdly, we also get an information that there was some kind of uniformity in their town planning, which is an evidence that some kind of municipal government was there. But as I told you, we have no written records regarding Indus Valley. Even though we have the seals, we are not able to make any sense of the seal, because this part of history, we call it as proto-historic period, because we have the seals but we are not able to make any sense, or we do not get any information. But by looking at the structure and other archaeological sources, it is very much evident that some kind of a municipal government was perhaps present. And lastly, the information what we get is, when we look at their town, when we look at the other features, these were the people who gave a lot of importance to cleanliness and hygiene. So this is regarding their town planning. Now I shall move on to the first feature of their town planning, that is on the streets. So to help you more, I would also give you the picture of the streets, the pictures which have been available now, which gives us the information that perhaps how their streets were. So looking at their streets, how were the Harappan streets in their sites? The streets were straight, they were broad, and they used to cut at every right angle. This is the first thing. Secondly, we can also find lamp poles at the end of every street, because it was the time when electricity was not invented. So to help the people for their flexible movement, people started having lamp posts, that is the pillars, and above it a lamp was placed. So this is the second thing. Third thing what we see is there was also dustbins which were placed in the either side of the roads, to dispose the filth, to dispose the unwanted. The dustbins were also placed at the either side of the road. And we can also see the drainage system which also passed besides the road. And how wide were these roads? It is told that their streets, they varied, from 13 to 34 feet wide. So the width is somewhere around from 13 to 34 feet wide is an approximate measurement of their streets. Moving ahead, now we shall go to the second important feature of town planning, that is their drainage system. So you would be wondering, how is their drainage different from the modern drainage system? Students, this exactly is the feature which makes Indus Valley civilization different and unique from the rest of the civilizations of the world. So why is it unique? It is unique because their drainage systems are built basically on scientific lines. I have also given you a picture of their drainage system. So if you look, exactly that how were this drainage different from the other drainage systems. One is as I have mentioned, their drainage system was built on scientific lines. They were built using the burnt bricks, and there were also manholes, in every interval, which says us that they were frequently cleaned. And the water what this drainage carried, it was disposed outside the city or the village, which says that these people gave a lot of importance to hygiene and cleanliness. And no other civilization in the world has such a advanced civilization as Indus Valley civilization. So that makes this civilization different from the rest of the civilizations. Coming to Great Bath. So what is this Great Bath? In Mohenjo-daro, there we can find a very big pool, and this we call it as Great Bath. We call it Great Bath because it's huge. What was the purpose of it? People have given different reason. Maybe it served as a religious bathing place for a ritual bath. Some think that it would have been a very common swimming pool. But when we look at it, into it, it is very unique. One is, it is very vast, maybe 39 feet long and 28 feet wide, and also 8 feet deep is the measurement of this particular Great Bath. And it is in a form of a gallery, means you have the steps from all the four sides. And near to this pool, we also find small rooms. And it is told that perhaps it would have been the changing room. And apart from that, it is also told that frequently the water of this Great Bath was changed. And the water of this Great Bath was connected with a drainage system, and this drainage carried the water and disposed outside the village, and fresh water was filled in. So this is regarding Great Bath, which is discovered in Mohenjo-daro. And students, even though today it's more than 5,000 years, the Great Bath is still intact. So it says us what kind of engineering skills people had way back in 3000 BCE. Now coming to granaries. Granaries means ugranagalu, where we use it as or to store any kind of things or commodities. We have also come across granaries, huge granaries, and these granaries served the purpose of storing the grains. So why were granaries built? It is estimated that the granaries were built in order to store the grains in the time of emergency. To serve people, it was kept for the time of emergency. So this is regarding granary. And in Mohenjo-daro, we can find such a granary which was used to store the grains. Now coming to their buildings. What kind of houses these people built, or where exactly they lived? When we look at the towns of Harappan civilization, the structure itself gives us the evidence, how the cities were. It is told that if we look at their towns were divided into two parts. That is the upper part and the lower part. The upper part, kind of an upper platform, it was quite higher. Here we can find citadel, a fortified citadel. And it says that perhaps there lived people from wealthy community. And just below the citadel, we have the lower platform, or where the people lived, and perhaps it gives us the evidence that maybe the commoners lived here. Okay. And coming to their construction, for whatever construction they did, they used burnt bricks. And how were their houses? Their houses was once again built with burnt bricks. They were storied houses, not just one, they had double storied houses. And these houses had pillared hall, bathroom, kitchen, etc. They also had windows. Every house had its own well. Every house was connected with a drainage system, which was connected once again to the main drainage system. So this is regarding their house. And in Lothal, that is in Gujarat, we have also come across a dockyard, that is a shipbuilding place, which gives us the evidence that during that time people had commercial relationships with other countries. So we get the example of dockyard mainly in a place called as Lothal, which is in Gujarat. So this is regarding town planning. So with this I end the first salient feature. In the next session, I am going to take up on the remaining concepts or the salient feature, maybe their political condition, their economic condition, social condition, religious life, art, sculpture, seal, and how did this civilization came to an end. Now coming back, students, we shall see the kind of questions you can expect from this particular chapter. As I have mentioned you earlier, this chapter is very important as far as examination is concerned, and moreover it's a very easy chapter, so because there is nothing much to be confused. Some of the important questions are these. They could ask you the first question, that is, name any two Harappan sites or Indus Valley sites, or they could also ask you name any 4 sites related to Indus Valley civilization, and the answer is Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Kalibangan, Ropar. So if you remember 4 to 5 names, it is well and good. The next question would be, what is this civilization also called as? Apart from Indus Valley civilization, it is also called as Harappan civilization. Then, who were the contemporaries of Indus Valley civilization? Who were the contemporaries? The Egyptians, the Chinese, and the Mesopotamians were the contemporaries. And then a very important question as to who discovered Indus Valley civilization. It is none other than Sir John Marshall in the year 1920 discovered Harappan civilization. Then a question would be asked, who discovered or established Archaeological Department of India? It was in the year 1904 Lord Curzon established Archaeological Department of India. After that, few other questions. Who discovered the site of Harappa? It was R.B. Dayaram Sahani who discovered Harappan site in the year 1920. Who discovered the site of Mohenjo-daro? It was R.D. Banerjee in the year 1922 discovered the site of Mohenjo-daro. One more question. What is the meaning of Mohenjo-daro? Mohenjo-daro means mound of the dead. It is not mount, it is mound of the dead. Apart from that, questions would be asked for 5 marks, that is on town planning. So if a question is asked on town planning, you will have to concentrate only giving explanation to this particular point. That is, first give a broad explanation on how was their town planning. How were the people? The people were highly civilized. Their town planning is very different from the other civilizations, and thirdly, this civilization had uniformity. Thus it says that there was some kind of municipal government. And the third or the fourth thing you have to write here is why is this civilization unique? Because this civilization or the people gave more importance to hygiene and cleanliness. And after that you could start writing or explaining each feature, starting with streets. They were straight, they cut into right angle, the availability of the lamp poles, the dustbins, and maybe the wells at the end of the road. You could write this. After that, you are supposed to write or give a note on their drainage system, which was based on scientific lines, and the manhole, how frequently was it cleaned, and the kind of brick, the burnt bricks which were used to build this drainage. And then Great Bath. Where is the Great Bath found? The Great Bath is found at Mohenjo-daro. Then on granary. So granary is once again found in Mohenjo-daro. And what was the purpose? To store grains, in the time of emergency or crisis. And lastly, their buildings. So how were their houses? What kind of houses they built? The kind of rooms their house had, and the other feature their house had. And here you will have to remember to write the name in the place where the dockyard is found. Where is the dockyard found? The dockyard is found in Lothal. So students, with this I ended the part 1 of chapter 3. Hope you have understood. So see you all soon in my next video. So until then, take care and thank you.